Welcome back to another day of the Commonwealth Esports Championships. We had South Asia qualifiers yesterday. We're going to be moving over with the Australian versus New Zealand match. Then we just saw the women's as well. Australia was able to take that 2-0, but now we are over watching the men's. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. I mean, we're home essentially. We finally get to cast some Oz Dota again and some Kiwi Dota. It's going to be very exciting for sure. But yeah, I'm keen to see what both of these teams are going to be able to put forward. I know they've been scrimming a fair amount. The big difference maker might be actually that Oz was previously playing with KP. I don't believe he's actually able to play today. I think he's got some official business with Talon, obviously his DPC team. So they're going to be playing with Spag instead and moving around the roles a little bit. So keen to see if that's going to impact the results at all.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting because, like you both said, this is really home for us. We have casted a couple of tournaments in Oceanic, which is just a lot of the Australian, New Zealand players. So for both of us, it's maybe been a year since some of those games were going on, maybe even a little bit longer. So players are very familiar, but they've been able to grow through that year. So it's going to be exciting to see kind of how the lineup looks for Australia versus New Zealand. And for me, I'm repping both. I'm half Kiwi, half Aussie. So it's like, yeah, I got a mix here. I mean, you're showing as well with your background.
Yeah, just a little bit of mix. I mean, I have no connection to New Zealand though. I mean, I've been there a few times. Absolutely love the place, but I'm all Team Oz. I'll try and keep the bias from not interfering into things. But honestly, they do look like the slightly stronger team. You know, they've got people that have a lot of international experience in, Lord Boons. You've got Lose Yourself. You've got Calvin. They're the big three that you're going to be looking to base this team around with a lot of their shot calling. And if it does get into that scary moment, they're going to be the ones with the cool head to be able to change things up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to take that back because I was just in Discord just prior to this watching the ladies' game, and Lord Boods was just screaming at the top of his lungs saying, "Overgrowth! Hit the overgrowth!" just constantly. So, hopefully, regardless of what happens, both teams are going to have a fun time, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah, we'll see who wins, and we'll see Boons is not too triggered for his series or not. But I mean, that's the Australian lads. What about the Kiwi lads? Do you know the lineup over there?
I know a few of the players. I think they've got Tobbs playing in the position 5. He was, for a long time, the real backbone, essentially, of the Kiwi supports. Of course, he's going to be joined by Fury. I know there's Xavier, Ningy as well. And they were previously playing with Lose Yourself because, like you, he's actually a dual citizen. But I believe because he's now moved over to the Oz portion, he is going to be replaced by the sub, who I'm not quite as familiar with. So I think that's the real thing that's tipping it much more in Australia's favour now. If New Zealand still had Lose Yourself, I would give them a really good shot to potentially take this one.
Okay, and keep in mind it is a best of three as well. So just one series is all it takes for one of these teams to be able to go over to Birmingham. And I mean, it's going to be exciting to see how the battle is able to shape up. Of course, we do have South Asia going on later tonight as well. We saw three best of twos yesterday with the likes of Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka battling it out. So we will have the remainder of those best of twos afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we also had a few of the Africa games going on. Previously, there was some European Dota. We're basically one of the last regions, I believe, that are actually going to have their qualifiers done and dusted. So, might be a little bit late to the party, but we're ahead most of the time with our time zone difference anyway. So it's not going to be too big of a deal. And the players will have plenty of time to be able to arrange their travel situation.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how the players also the emphasis they put on the heroes. Of course, it always has to be mentioned, but we are on a new patch 7.31D. We've had Marcy added to captain's mode. We've had a little bit of buffs with the new heroes as well in regards to Dawnbreaker. She's getting some more game time. So, is there anything that maybe you have some inside information that you'd like to share with us?
Not really. I mean, everything that basically is said from the Oz Dota players is, "Oh, this hero is annoying. Oh, that'll suck to play against." You know, all this sort of stuff. That's like, Okay, it might be just a result of something that they've come up against in pubs, but not actually something that's going to translate into the competitive level. But and I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Pudge. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like the Marcy look to come out here. I know Spag is a big fan of the Pugner as well. It just fits his healing style of Pos 5 that he likes to go. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing because I think things like the Dawnbreakers had a little bit of a resurgence as well in recent times, and anything really that's going to provide a little bit more of that lane sustain for me. That's the big difference maker for a lot of this patch, right? We've seen Monkey King be good at it. We've seen Juggernaut be good at it. CK, Wraith King, Dawnbreaker with Illuminosity, all the different healing position fives. So I think that's going to be at the top of a lot of teams' lists.
Okay. Okay, so really just looking on the sustain in the lane, because of course the selves using it on someone else that isn't yourself, of course the reduction, you don't get the effectiveness, just half of it taken away just like that. So you feel like there's going to be a lot of importance now in just having maybe carries that are self-sustainable, maybe even just cores in general.
Or even, I haven't really seen it too much outside of Tundra doing it in the European region, but just buying a headdress, headdress
Yeah.
for the laning stage, building obviously a bunch of tangos for yourself, and using that to be able to enable your cores to trade a little bit more easily. And again, like we see Tree Protector, it's pretty popular. I was saying before, Dawnbreaker, pretty solid too. Marcy, one of the big reasons why she's so popular is because of that sidekick ability. I think I was watching Nouns play it in the NADPC a little bit earlier, and there was a Marcy position 5 paired together with a Clinks. You pop the sidekick, you use Burning Barrage, and you're basically back at full HP. It's pretty ridiculous, right? So just a lot of those little ways to be able to cheat the system and get a lot of regen when for free, essentially.
Yeah, we saw last night in CDPC, we had the Visage and the Marcy as well. So the sidekick used on the familiars, and it was just melting down objectives. It was a ridiculous amount of damage that was being dealt. And for me coming into it, I was saying that I really think Marcy and a toolkit is going to be pretty stupid in competitive in particular, where you have a lineup that has the communication, the coordination that can play very well around together. Because it just feels like everything she has, there's a couple of things she might be missing, like a little bit of team fight is really the big one. But strong laner has a stun, has a pseudo save in a way, and like you said, really, I think it comes down to the sidekick and what that is able to provide. Plus 60 damage. That's a lot of damage, man. How much gold effectively is that? Let's do this. Let's see how much gold that truly is. Um, items.
65 at max level. Even just the 1 point, like it is a longish cooldown, 35 36 seconds, but 35% lifesteal is really nice too. So what? Sacred Relic is 60 damage. There we go. So it's basically equivalent to about 4,000 gold that you're getting for one ability with a crap ton of lifesteal.
Yeah, which is silly. I mean, that like you just said, the amount of gold, the equivalent of that, with this free ability that you're giving over, and I'm pretty sure. What's the cooldown? Like this is all about Marcy, but I don't blame it. This hero is very strong, and I feel like it's something we're going to see for quite some time. A 12-second cooldown with it lasts for 6 seconds, 6 second duration of sidekick and a 12-second cooldown. So you have a half downtime on that. I don't know. This hero really feel like it's going to be picked up a drastic amount, not only through this tournament and plenty of tournaments coming up.
Yeah, pretty nutty. I mean, even just pairing it together with a Pangolier could be busted with a Swashbuckle. A lot of these heroes, like we've seen Marcy's paired together with Pudges occasionally, just because that rebound provides 45% bonus movement speed for 5 seconds. So you've got a Pudge that's trying to just chase people down with the Rot onto himself. Of course, he's incredibly tanky now. It makes life a whole lot more difficult. So, yeah, I like that Marcy adds a little bit of a different dynamic. I don't think she's maybe the sidekick is busted, but everything else I'm pretty happy with how that is, and I think you always need to have some element of a hero that's OP. That's the great thing about Dota.
You want to have a hero that's OP? That's
No, no.
always first pick, first phase ban?
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is something about every hero in Dota is OP,
Okay.
and I feel like for Marcy it's the sidekick. It's
Okay.
just that she also has Dispose, which is also very strong.
Just a unique aspect of the hero. You don't want you want to have like a hero pool where there's 5 heroes that do the same thing. You kind of want everyone has that unique little ability and value that you're able to add to, I suppose, a draft and just a lineup in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's just have a think of a lot of the other things like the Wraith Pack, the Boots of Bearing. They're becoming very standard across the board, but maybe having something like a Marcy is going to reduce the need for the drums and the Boots of Bearing, just because it's going to give you a lot of that sustain moving forward. It gives you the extra movement speed that you might need. You've got another repositioning spell in the Dispose. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. It's still very early into a new patch, and we're seeing in the DPC level a lot of upsets starting to happen. You know, Goon Squad, the team with S4 and Limp, taking out Team Liquid. Not sure a lot of people would have been expecting that. RSG beating T1, another unexpected result from the CDPC. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening across a lot of these regions.
Yeah. Even if you want to continue mentioning, we saw eHome beat LGD, who went 6-1 in Tour 2, 7-0 in Tour 1. So yeah, a lot is going on. I feel like Dota is at a beautiful stage where we just have the underdogs, proving that there's a right for them to be in the position that they are in. We've had a lot of time to be able to grow, and with all the tournaments going on left, right, and center, just giving them the reps under the belt, and that's really the main thing. And hopefully for these teams in particular, New Zealand and Australia, whoever's able to make it over to Birmingham, you're just gonna have a little bit more time to be able to scrim, clean up some of your issues, build those strategies, get that hero pool to a position where it needs to be. So then when you get to Birmingham, you're ready to take the crown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to kind of make the meta your own, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of these teams are trying to do at the very beginning with, these unorthodox picks like the Pudge, like the Dawnbreaker, just trying to edge something out that's a little bit more unexpected. We've seen teams, go different routes with a Skywrath Mage and a Zeus, and it's had varying levels of success, but it really does seem to me like it's just a lot more about the sustain and how effective that's going to be in the long term.
Yeah. Well, we are still waiting on some players to join the lobby. There is, unfortunately, we do not have anyone in just. A couple people are joining on Australia, and then they have dipped out. So we are going to send this one over to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Australia taking on New Zealand. We are back for the Commonwealth Esports Championships, Australia versus New Zealand qualifiers. Then we've got the players in the lobby, so the draft should be around the corner. This is, here we go, we're getting down to, I know we were preparing a little bit a couple of minutes ago, just setting the scene, but now that we all have the plays set and ready to go, it's going to be a good series because there's some rivalry back and forth because some of these players are very, very familiar with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. You got some close friends as well, constantly playing not just Dota but other games. New Zealand, they're kind of like Australia's little brother. They're always there. They're always hanging around. Of course, a lot of the Oceanic tournaments that happen, the old school lands like AEF, for example. You got a lot of these players intermingling with different teams, and yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of banter coming out. We're just hoping for no pauses. Calvin Chen is known for his start of game pauses, so hopefully everything's going to be good from the very beginning. But looks like he's going to be playing the position one role this game. We were talking about with KP, obviously having to deal with official Talon duties, that we had to have Spag standing in. Spag's going to be playing the position five. I believe Tien is playing position four, something that he's a little bit less accustomed to. And then Calvin 1, LY2, Boons 3.
I was gonna say I'm surprised because Tien's a mid player, isn't he?
Mid or carry, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because and then in the Discord I was looking Boons as the second name. I'm like, well, I don't know if this is in kind of position order. I don't know. Boons position 2 could be very, very interesting because he's well known for his support. Yeah. Okay, throwback.
Yeah. A long time ago, Bruce used to play that, but I believe he's playing position 3 this game. They might just be sitting wrong, and who knows, but I'm pretty sure that that's how it's going to be today. I probably, like, if I was looking to set up a team, just Calvin is a greedy player in general, so it doesn't matter if he's playing position 1, 2, 3, whatever. He wants to be able to farm, so I feel like a good way to get around that is just to give him the role that wants to farm at this stage, and that's going to be the position 1 role. Even dating back to like the PvP Esports Championships in 2018, he was playing for Team KSY, I think at the time, which was the team that QO first made when he came back to Australia after having a lot of international stints, and he played a position 1. He played Terrorblade constantly, and he was really the shining light in that team that also included the likes of Matino, Corrosive, Godot, and one more. I'm not sure if it was Zemistry or Jandals, maybe. But yeah, no, there was a lot of good results that came through as a result of Calvin, and I'm sure that Team Australia is hoping it's going to be the same today.
Hopefully for them, and then for the All Blacks, for the New Zealand lads, of course, we've got some experience. E-Blacks. I mean, yeah, well, we'll go with E-Blacks, and we might be All Blacks a couple of times as well. But yeah, you've got the experience coming through, Xavier and Fury. They're really the big two names that people might be familiar with.
Yeah, I just want to kind of go on a bit of a tangent here with Natty, our fellow Australian, and after the first season of the DPC this year, she actually was on a stream and she was making like a tier list of casters that she could take in a physical fight. And unfortunately, she put me there as absolute cake. I would absolutely beast him. But Tobes, he is one that you would not want to mess with. He is like a full-on mixed martial artist. He's an absolute beast. So I'm sure he has a little bit of that intimidation factor as well. If he makes a call, you better listen.
Okay. So he's the person you're listening out for. I mean, we'll see. He's playing the 5 as well, so it's going to be leading the charge, getting the players in the right position, and like you said, maybe there's that intimidation factor. You don't want to get a karate chop to the back of the head.
Absolutely not. We all know Fury though. He's very well known. He's very vocal in game with exactly what he wants as well. I'm TPing, I'm coming. It's just always 2 things in a row for Fury, and I'm sure it's going to result in a lot of high energy plays coming through from the E-Blacks. But like we were saying before the break, I think it's going to come down to they need to outdraft Team Australia.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to do. Fury himself was actually drafting for the E-Blacks, I believe, in the ladies competition that was just previous. They didn't end up getting in on the winning side of things, but I still thought that their drafts were really solid overall. A lot of their team compositions made sense, and it just came down to the execution. So if he's able to carry that one through into this series, then it might give them the edge.
Yeah, Fury has had plenty of experience being the drafter and being that vocal person, but also you're looking at Australia and something that you've really been hitting the nail on is just the fact that the experience from these players. So they're going to understand matchups. They've been throughout the scene for quite some time. So they will also have a bit of an edge when it comes to their draft.
Yeah, I think so. And the both teams are playing with a sub for this particular series, so going to be equally impacted, I would say, as a result of that. Um, just to give a bit of information about what we were talking about with the draft there, Team Australia ended up winning the coin flip, so they chose having second pick. E-Blacks are going to be on the Radiant side, so clearly Team Australia valuing the fact that they just want to give their cores, particularly Calvin and LY, the more advantageous lanes at the end of it. You're always going to be able to have a response with, core-to-core matchups, so it's just going to be a matter of what's left in the pool. And like we've been saying before, Fury's a pretty good drafter, so I feel like you're going to need to be pretty damn clever to try and bamboozle him regarding that.
Yeah, I think a point we need to highlight as well is just the fact that it's a best of three. We've had best of twos yesterday for South Asia, and of course we're going to be continuing with best of twos after this when we close on South Asia. But this is a full best of three, so we will hopefully get 3 games, but it just adds a little bit more spice, I suppose, in regards to the draft, where the meta can really start to develop a little bit more in regards to these two teams.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know actually. Like, I feel like meta developing is more throughout like a really long tournament or potentially in a best of five. Best of threes are still a little bit like maybe you can experiment with a couple of stuff in game one, but I really wouldn't be going all out with that. I think you just got to make every single game count. You can have gotcha picks for sure, but don't try something silly because you might not get. Well, you won't have a third chance. You've got 2 chances to be able to make the win happen.
Yeah, I think it's just more in regards to, like, say Australia pick up a Pugner in game one. It looks exceptional. They take the game, and New Zealand they recognize how strong this Pugner is going to be. They can't let Australia pick it up again. So you maybe play it yourselves or you ban it out. It looks like we are getting underway. Maybe, yeah, we'll see if this is going to continue to be the case or not. But yeah, it's just going to be exciting to see kind of, for me, I'm looking at the draft and how things are all shaping up because, like you said, I suppose the meta is truly developed over a longer stint of a tournament or like a best of five as well.
I'm also receiving information that apparently Team Australia, their roles are flexible. So we were saying before that TN obviously much more comfortable on the position 1 and 2. If the right heroes are in the pool for him to be able to do so, then I'm sure that's probably what he's going to look to pick up.
Okay, and it looks like we are underway here. So game one with the best of three for the.
Look at all those bans, by the way. It's all support that have sustain. So really indicative of what the meta is right now.
All right, and a first pick Doom coming out from the E-Blacks. Can I say All Blacks? Do I have to say
You can say E-Blacks, that's their name.
E-Blacks. I see what they're going with, but it's just
These
so
boys
natural
aren't
to say
playing
All
rugby.
Blacks.
They're not playing rugby, my man. So
Doesn't
you
matter.
gotta go E-Blacks. They're playing with their fingers, not with their muscles, that's for sure. But with the Doom pick, I mean, it's a decent opener, right? Like, you don't know if it's going to be position 3 or position 4. We've seen a lot more pos 4 these days, specifically in response to the Enchantress a lot of the time. Just because you're going to be able to deal with the creep in that way, you can leave the lane and have a little bit more of an impact by making rotations if you're getting a good start. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Team Australia to pick up a Chen. Like, it's not amazingly strong right now, but it's something that Spag's done a plenty of times. It's something that Boons has done plenty of times as well. So go down. Just the cheese. Okay. Okay.
Why
But
am I
Doom's
not
pretty good against
surprised?
Visage, though. Doom's good against Visage. I honestly wouldn't be too sad if I'm the E-Blacks.
You're really looking at just the damage of a time that the Doom is able to pump out on the Visage?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got 3 different ways to do it, right? Doom itself, plus Scorched Earth, plus the Infernal Blade. So, and movement speed as well. Of course, you can use the Grave Chill to nullify that a little bit, but it just still feels like a really good answer to the Visage once the mid-game does begin. You just got to make sure that you're punishing the Visage in the laning stage as well. And this is one of those supports, if it's played in the position 4, that are super capable of providing that that guarding element to the Visage. Very tanky, very sustainable, and does make Visage's life a whole lot easier.
10 seconds
I think another thing to mention is just the Marcy. It's been avoided so far. We've got one more pick coming through from the E-Black, so could have a Doom Marcy as a laning combo, or at least the first phase combo, but might be a bit
Familiars.
awkward with their draft. So yeah.
I would say much more likely to be Team Australia, right? The only thing putting me off that a little bit is that I know that Spag hasn't been playing a ton of Dota ever since the new patch, so it might be just something that he's a bit less likely to do, but I still feel
boy.
like Visage paired together with the Marcy is going to be really solid. I think they just wanted a carry at this stage that they felt was really strong against the Visage because he's incredibly single target focused, and something that was a natural Manta style builder to be able to avoid the overgrowth. So I honestly don't hate the Phantom Lancer here.
Yeah, I don't as well for with point you mentioned, and now you've got the second phase to protect it. So less tracks being banned out. Are there any others that really come to mind when you're looking to protect the PL?
I mean, Storm Spirit at times, Ember Spirit at times, for sure. There are a few of the big ones, but with any kind of these spirit heroes that are going to be able to dish out a lot of that AoE damage and need to be using the mobility to the fullest extent, a Doom could stop that pretty quickly if you've got the instant stun to be able to deal. So, what was another option? Like maybe a position one Tiny, maybe a Monkey King, maybe a Juggernaut can be used in response to it. I don't want to see any Juggernauts going Battle Fury anymore, but I just feel like with the Shard plus the Maelstrom, it's a really effective tool regardless of what stage of the game you're at.
I feel like for Australia as well, they could just go down a different route where you're just looking to end the game early. That is one thing that Visage does provide you. Yes, the matchups probably aren't the greatest, but the nice thing about the Visage here is that there is always what seems to be a window of opportunity for you to be able to end the game before your counters really prove to be an issue.
So what do you think they're going to pick up on the E-Blacks then to be able to avoid that, right? Because we've seen against like an OD and against a Visage, if you have the aggression to be able to get on top of the Visage and consistently put pressure on, it's pretty devastating. I'm kind of feeling a Jakiro a little bit, you know, lots of damage over time just to make the laning stage a little bit more difficult, and something that is able to deal with a tree and protector a little bit. Obviously, the macro pie doesn't get rid of trees anymore, but that can also be a bad thing. It means that the tree and protector can't just stay inside the trees. You need to make sure that you're playing around a few more opportune areas, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I really like the Jakiro call because I think for E-Blacks, you're going to need a way to be able to guarantee towers. Otherwise, if you don't find these objectives and all of a sudden Australia are playing with 2 T1 towers, maybe even 3 T1 towers, and E-Blacks aren't going to have enough map to be able to farm. And already their first 2 picks, it's very greedy. PL needs a lot of time to come online. Doom is a 4 or 3 regardless, needs time for the Devour and potential Midas to be able to ramp up your net worth. So if you don't have these towers killed early to really give you more access to the jungle or even a couple more lanes to be able to farm, then you really might start to fall behind. So I like the Jakiro call. Not only does it help with the Visage, it's kind of nice for us to Treant Protector, but also slightly being able to provide some damage to the tower.
Just having a quick look through all the different heroes in the patch. I mean, we might see a Crystal Maiden, perhaps, just because with the Frostbite in lane, it's going to be kind of nice. You've got a little bit of that extra cast range. Of course, the Crystal Nova just keeps getting buffed more and more and more. I'm just a little bit worried about a CM running into a Visage. Your max HP is so low these days that I feel like you're really in a vulnerable position there. And they pick up the Pangolier with, I mean, I would Grimstroke here. Absolutely. You've got a Doom. That's another thing that has damage over time that enables you to just have that extra movement speed to be able to get onto a Visage. We don't even know where the Visage is, right? This might not be a Pango mid. It doesn't really scream out to me as an LY style of hero.
Do you reckon though? Because you mentioned a lot about Kelvin being like a greedy one, wanting a lot of farm, and maybe it's going to put LY in a position where he has to be on that playmaker.
Well, maybe. Puck, also a pretty decent response to the Pango once you get to the mid game. Of course, can't do anything once he's in the Rolling Thunder, but they're looking to try and catch them out before that stage on the E-Blacks. But for the laning stage, Pango just wants to go that Orb of Corrosion and then look to harass out the Puck. So I feel like Team Australia are going to be pretty satisfied with this mid lane for starters. Maybe look to get a few of these Sentry Camp blocks happening as well. And there's the Grimstroke.
I was thinking they might Grim plus Void. There are regions that put a lot more emphasis on the Void Spirit than others, but Storm's pretty much dead at the moment. Ember's banned, you couldn't pick it. Some teams really do like playing the Puck and Grim together because he's going to have Blink and Orb, so you can get on top of Hero and offer that Inkswell stun. I'm just intrigued to see now how Australia can deal with the Puck, because the mid matchup can be pretty decent for the Pango. You got Orb Corrosion, you max out Swashbuckle, and with Puck's low armor, he can have some issues.
Yeah, that's the main thing that I'm concerned about right now for the E-Blacks. Just thinking as well, like, this is probably a Witchblade game for Puck. Just, again, more damage over time. This is, to me, like a... Is this a Boon special? It feels a little bit like it. I mean, Calvin's super capable of playing it. I don't see Tien playing the Earth Spirit a ton. So again, Team Australia with their flex, just keeping us guessing a little bit. But yeah, Witchblade on the Puck going to be nice against the Visage for that damage over time, providing the extra armor that you're going to need against the Pangolier plus the Familiars. But really, there is very minimal right-click damage coming out, or right-click damage that is consistently going to be able to be used onto the Puck.
So the lineup that Australia have a lot of team fight, a lot of stuns. They're just lacking that punch almost in regards to the carry, because we're still looking for Kelvin's hero in regards to the 24th pick. I suppose we should be looking at E-Blacks though next, because they do have the next pick out of the last phase. What are we imagining E-Blacks are going to need to pick up here? Is a role they're lacking?
I'm just looking position 3 or 4. What are they actually in more of a need of? I know we're probably thinking that, oh, well, it might be a Doom 3 and a Grim 4, but I really want to see the Grim paired together with this Phantom Lancer. I think they need a reliable stun. They've got nothing right now. You know, the Grim Stroke's a little bit delayed. The Puck, you get BKBs, and they're just able to shrug off the Dream Coil. So that's really the priority that I'm looking for the E-Blacks right now. Just something that's able to get that initial jump. There's not a ton left in the pool, though. I mean, they're getting rid of offlaners on Team Australia's side, so maybe a Sand King wouldn't be horrible.
Dire team ban.
Definitely gives you that jump that you're asking for, and the pairing with the Grimstroke's really nice. So there's no Dragonite that could offer a similar role in this game.
Team pick.
So they've been Necro and DP. So for me, this is looking like Australia is going to go some kind of tankier position 1 that doesn't like versing percent damage.
I suppose. I think they would just want, like, they are lacking a little bit of front line as well for the E-Blacks, so they were wanting to take that away from them. So, you know, obviously something like, could it even be a Centaur, perhaps? I don't know. I'm struggling to think of something here other than the Sand King, if I'm honest. And then for Team Australia, they'll be able to just have the immediate response. I mean, the Anti-Mage is still in the pool, and it is a farming style of POS 1 if they do go down that Sand King route. I mean, Mars is still in the pool. Didn't even realize that.
The reason I didn't bring it up because the Pango, and that's, yeah, it was an instant jug pick. No hesitation. They've saw the Mars and like, yeah, we are more than happy to pick the Juggernaut. And you mentioned it's going to have a pretty good time versus the Phantom Lancer. You can go this Maelstrom, Agshard route. You'll deal with the illusions relatively well. You're going to break the coil easily. You get out of arena. I think this is a exceptional Juggernaut pick.
And they have switched up the roles. So we've got Lose Yourself playing position 1. We've got Tien playing the position 2 Pango. Position 3 Visage. Position 4 Earth Spirit is Calvin. And then Spag playing the POS 5 Treant Protector.
Okay. I think the main thing is at least LY is on a core role. I mean, LY is... What was his top MR? I know he got up there without a doubt.
I want to say he was playing on 250 ping to US East, and he was out farming Arteezy. Like, it's pretty ridiculous what the man is able to do when he puts his mind to things.
Yes. Unfortunately, I believe he's taken a bit of a backseat. I haven't seen him gaming too studying. Okay, well, hopefully when study ends, LY can flex the muscles of how strong of a player he truly is, and hopefully we get to see that in this game. But like we're trying to hide the bias here. I know you're full Aussie. I'm half, so I'll rep the Kiwi lads, and you can rep Australia. We'll have a little bit of battle.
Sure.
No, actually,
Sounds good.
Sure. No, but no bias, you know. But I know New Zealand gonna win.
You can think it all you want, but it's not going to happen.
Well, regardless, it's going to be exciting to have one of these teams representing the countries over in Birmingham. Of course, Australia up against New Zealand in the E Blacks. It is a best of 3 as we're going to get underway for our game 1.
Nice sportsmanship coming out from Fury. Doesn't look like it's being matched by Team Australia right now, but another little bit of trivia. It's Fury's birthday today, so it'll be a very nice little bit of a birthday present if he's able to qualify through to those Birmingham Land finals.
Birthday pug.
Uh-oh.
Calvin, that's not a high ground you want to enter, my friend. 5 heroes ready and waiting to spring the trap, and it's Puck who finds our first blood.
Yeah, I was talking about the greed before, and it looks like he was looking to try and place down that Observer Ward onto the high ground and go for some courier snipes. Of course, Spirit, one of the better heroes, being able to do that, but yeah, just the quicker positioning. I believe it was a smoke purchased up by the E-Blacks there to be able to get out in position quickly enough to be able to get that vision up and set up for that kill. So we were talking about how difficult this mid lane might be for the Puck against the Pango if he does go for this Orb of Corrosion build, but now it's going to be a little bit easier. Get that earlier bottle.
A bit of a battle breaking out in the river. Okay, well, more than a battle as LY, with the help of Juice and Spag, you're able to find the kill. So they do rectify the death prior. Of course, I suppose it was First Blood Gold given over, but at least Boons is off to a good start on the Visage. And this is definitely a hero that can be sink or swim in regards to the early game. The laning phase is probably one of the weaknesses for the Visage, but do you think he's going to have a good time down bottom?
I mean, I feel like once you get up to level 2 on the Grimstroke and more, you can look to make some aggressive plays, right? You've got the Inkswell, you've got the extra movement speed, you're going to have the Phantom Rush as well, just to immediately get onto some of these squishier heroes. I think Tobbs just needs to be very careful with his mana regen, not his mana regen, his regen sustainability, I suppose. You can't be using too many of these tangos frivolously, because anytime you just go for a trade, Boons is going to have... Can Calvin die again down here?
Yeah, I was going to say he's fallen really low on the Earth Spirit, but I guess it's given Boons enough of the charges to be able to pump back the damage over to the Phantom Lancer.
Got to be careful, though, of course. You know, you've got Boons here holding onto 3 mangoes, so it's very clear that he wants to be spamming out those soul assumptions whenever he can. Calvin just looking to interrupt the salve that Ningy had going on himself. Then how's mid lane going so far? Of course, Tien did have to contend against a Puck that had a very early bottle, so it's going to make his life a little bit harder, but you can see Tom Shi still has just that 1 armor when he's not underneath the tower, so he is a little bit more susceptible to being burst down. He's got the bottle coming out and immediate Blightstone queued up as well for Tien, so it's exactly what he needs to be doing right now.
In our top lane, Fury on the Doom. Looks like he's been able to find the Ice Armor. A pretty decent creep for him to have, honestly. Especially when you're trying to man-fight into Spag.
Some of the slowest right clicks I've ever seen in my life between these two. Probably only a Tiny is the one that could look to contest against that.
Definitely feels like this is a lane where LY should dominate. It's a very good lane matchup versus the Mars. You've got that sustain as well that we've been mentioning a lot throughout the past couple of days with the healing ward, and not only that, but the train protector as well. And hang on a second, LY, he's got a Radiance queued up, so really going down a different route to try and deal with the Phantom Lancer.
Not the magic juggernaut. Oh, it's been a bit of a meme, but I can see it working for sure. I mean, it's going to be another way to potentially cancel out some of these blink daggers that you might be looking to go on the Puck, the Doom, the Mars. We'll see how it works, though. Spag ends up tying up on this top side.
Nicely done. Fury and Xavier combined together to be able to get their second kill of the game for E-Blacks. Bottom lane, we had a lot of aggression going out, just a back and forth. Kelvin and Boons falling low. Ningy was forced to get some regen back over thanks to Tobes.
Tien's got that Blightstone as well for the mid lane, so he's going to be using it to consistently harass out the Puck whenever possible, just trying to bait out the phase shift so that he gets a much freer use of his attacks.
Definitely feels like it's all lanes where we have action. It doesn't seem like it's going to be one lane in particular where there won't be much kill threat.
Yeah, and I'd say probably the main person suffering right now would be Ningy. I know he's staying level with Boons on the net worth charts, but he's ferrying out a set of tangos for himself. And, you know, I know they made the changes to the salves, but it really does feel like something Tobes should probably be doing for himself. He's got plenty of gold to be able to provide that little bit of extra regen through to his PL. And, I mean, if the courier gets sniped by Calvin, then that's going to be a huge deal. Ningy's not going to be able to walk up and last hit against this combination of the Visage and the Earth.
Up lane, Fury's in trouble. They got the slow with the Blade Fury on top, and now over towards the bottom. We'll see if they're going to be able to get the kill. Ningy, Soul Assumption enough to bring him down. So 2 kills in separate lanes going Australia's way.
Mid lane's looking pretty even, though. Not too many rotations coming through to be able to try and secure things. Maybe Calvin, with his TP back, could look to refill the bottle of TN and maybe make a rotation here onto the puck while he is, I was about to say low-ish, but ends up using both of those bottle sips to be able to be back up at full HP.
Amazing what you'll find laying around.
Now, we're seeing
actually looking to rotate bot. Doesn't have level 6 just yet, but well, he's actually standing right underneath the observer ward as well for quite some time. So without that ultimate, he's not going to have any kind of impact with this movement.
How are we expecting Calvin? Well, actually, bottom lane. Jesus Christ, that's so much damage, and they might be able to get Tobes as well. Now, the Soul's Assumption being chucked out, but without Calvin to be able to continue the chase, Tobes will be able to reposition back to the safety of the tower.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're playing up against a Visage and you don't go this combination that's super capable of being able to take him out, right? Like, the PL can get aggressive in the right situation, but it doesn't feel like they've really actively used the Inkswell for that damaging attempt. Even now, had just died previously, so he's going to need to walk all the way back out to this lane. Means Tobes gets some valuable levels for sure, but it's not what you want. I mean, you picked this PL in your most advantageous spot in the draft to be able to close out phase 1, and you haven't really protected it at all.
Yeah, Boons his body and bottom. 27-11 compared to the 17 on the Phantom Lancer. And it's awkward on Visage because it feels like he can be a strong laner in the right scenario, but it can be a really weak laner in a different scenario as well. So the fact that Boons is sitting 2-0-1, he's got to be very happy with his start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what a Visage wants, right? Just the capability to free farm and not be too contested. I mean, level 7 is the big timing, the big early timing rather, for a Visage. He's almost hit up onto his level 6. There's just so much damage that you're able to output with that Soul Assumption. Bot lane, Ningy just got back here.
Oh no, not again. Doppel's going to give him a little bit of space. What do you do now if you're Ningy? He can't lane into this. Now Boons has level 6 as well.
You call for a rotation from the puck. I think that's the big deal. It's just going to be about hanging back, looking to take a little bit of this safer farm. Hopefully, we'll get a bit of information. Tobes might end up falling down here. I mean, Puck's got to come. If Puck can join in here, it would be against the Pangolier, though, that's also made the rotation through.
Yeah, look at this from TN. Rolling Thunder. Oh, he gets the stun after the Doppelganger, but multiple TPs are coming down from the E-Blacks. Fury, along with the Puck, looking to join the party, but oh no! They rip apart the Puck's life. Now they can turn to Fury next in the tree line. There's going to be no escape from the Doom. He TP'd down bottom to offer him his assistance, but Boons is already up to a killing spree. They are just dismantling the E-Blacks.
Yeah, this
and now top lane Xavier.
Oh.
He's in trouble as well. Blade Fury, is it going to be enough damage? Well, no. Xavier, back to the safety of the tower.
To survive for now, and at least he's got the wave kind of sort of pushing into him. But yeah, this bottom lane, he gave up the first blood, but Calvin, as we talk about him, looking to go for another kill here onto Tobes.
Got a mana on Calvin.
To do it, though. The
Slosh should be up shortly. Should get it. Up.
But yeah, it was really Calvin there. He had the Dream Coil available on the puck, but a very clutch use of the Geomagnetic Grip, getting the silence through and making sure that Tomshi wasn't able to impact that team fight at all.
There goes your T1 tower down bottom, and there goes your first phase Phantom Lancer's lane. You picked him in confidence, and Thingy's got no game now.
Where can you farm? Where can you
Yeah.
farm?
Oh, you're 100% right with the calls, though. This game is really all on puck to resemble some form of a comeback.
The one thing I'm not as... I don't want to say unhappy about
Fury?
it, but... Oh,
The T1 tower you're getting aggressive on, but it's like always not wanting to commit with the Blade Fury on cooldown. There's always a threat of Xavier popping out of the trees with the arena.
yeah, I think that was the main thing. They didn't know where the puck was. They didn't know where the Mars was. The team fight on the E-Blacks is still pretty good. Just looking
So with Australia, though, I thought TM was going to charge up the Rolling Thunder. He's going to reveal himself.
So what I was saying before about TN is that I understand this build, right? You want to go a little bit more right-click oriented because you're up against the Phantom Lancer. You need to be able to deal with the illusions. You need to be able to harass the puck. But I'm not sure Diffuser Blade is the best this game, just because, I mean, who are you really hitting and who are you really reducing the impact of? I would
Bottom lane, this is a big kill
maybe
for Gepper. Oh no! He just gets out of the arena.
He's looking to chase.
Mid
Mid
lane.
lane.
Does Kelvin go? They got the ward. Core's going to break as well into Spag, because without the ultimate, Tien's going to try and charge up his Rolling Thunder once again. He's able to find Ningy after the doppelgangers, trying to juke with the illusions, but it will not matter. They'll find him towards the tail end of the skirmish. And the damage over time, all in the AoE, is too much for the E-Blacks to handle. 3 are going to be killed off with no remorse from Australia. And they're going to move to the northern side as well, where Tien will finish the 4th target in the puck.
Now even picks up the haste rune. He's got that full
They're not
Diffuser
done.
Blade coming
They're
out.
going to go for Xavier. He's not protected at all by the T1 tower. They're swarming to his location. No one is safe on the map.
It's just got a lot of kill threat, right? You've got all these heroes that have such high capability for damage early on, and it doesn't feel like the E-Blacks are quite in a position to make those counter initiations happen. You know they're going to make these movements, right? So I think it's really on the back of people like Xavier as well as Tom Shi to be able to set up, make sure that they keep those TP scrolls available, and then look to make a counter initiation. And unfortunately for them, the one time that they did attempt to do that, it was just a really clutch play coming out from Calvin to prevent the turnaround.
Radiant structures are
4,000 net worth lead early on for the lads on Australia. You got Visage up top. I feel like the important thing, though, is LY hasn't left this lane. He is just free farming 1-0-1, 64 last hits. This is giving him plenty of time to be able to work towards that Radiance.
Yeah, and when you see this Doom position 4, you probably don't expect A, him to be dying 4 times, and B, for him to be basically second last on the net worth graph. I mean, the fact that you've got an Earth Spirit that's 600 ahead of him is a pretty big deal. I mean, you pick him because he wants to be a little bit greedier.
We could see, though, Radiant. You know, maybe... Ooh, Coil just shy. Kelvin even gives
They're
Tom
not
the tip.
rationing these tips. They're
Bottom
just
lane?
using them nice and early.
They're on to Xavier. Tien and Spag conjunction together is able to find another kill. Fury a little bit too late, and I don't even think there's much that the Doom really would have done.
Yeah, he's not really in a position to make any kind of turnarounds happen. I mean, the other big thing is that Tobes, you haven't really been talking about him too much, but he's still not level 6. And when you're going up against this Visage, when you're going up against the Pango, it's so important to just have that Soulbind capability. It doesn't feel like they want to use the Doom until they've got that Grimstroke, his experience, but where can he go? It looks like they're going to give him this full creep wave top so that they can maybe mount some kind of aggressive attempt.
Look how aggressive they're playing on Australia. They're even considering about diving a T2 tower to maybe stop Ningy from getting a safe farm. Like both Tien and Spag posturing aggressively. Xavier, oh, it's another arena that's just off the mark. And now Australia are going to pounce with this opportunity. Towards the backline they go as the Rolling Thunder cuts the fight into half. Xavier will not be able to retreat. The damage continuing to funnel in, and Calvin's even going to refresh the Magnetize. Now, you've got to respect how deep you want to go. They're trying to poke and prod from afar. But they will not get a secondary kill. Oh, they might actually. Fury off to the side. He dropped the Doom to try and bring down Boons, but the Visage is able to tank through the ultimate from the Doom, and Now he might be in trouble, although TN... Is he going to go for this? No, not the case.
Well, you say that, he still hasn't popped the DD. He would have been able to get probably another kill in that mid-fight as well as there onto the Doom if he had it available, but I mean, maybe they're saving it for when LY eventually wants to join. He's got the Sacred Relic coming out to him now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Almighty money.
Tobes. Jesus Christ, so much damage. They're going to split the middle as well from the spear. Xavier going to be okay, protected for the moment. But this is really starting to get out of control for the E-Blacks.
Yeah. 850 gold away from that full Radiance. Lose yourself. He hasn't even impacted this game at all, really, and it's just going to get so much worse for the E-Blacks moving forward. They got to get some kind of combination together with this Grimstroke and Doom. They got to land these ultimates on the Puck and the Mars. Feels like Tom Shee's just holding on to a bunch of net worth that isn't really doing anything.
They might find Boone solo. Down bottom, great observer to be able to play with. Yeah, he's got a decent streak. It's got to be Tom Shee that also finds the kill. So 426 gold given over. Really nice movement from E-Blacks, but they've got to be cautious. They don't get too greedy now. Venturing to the middle lane where Kelvin's able to set up a roll in. Magnetized drop. And Ready, you got to get out. You can't take the fight now. It's ripping them apart. The magic damage is something they don't have an answer to. Now they're going to be able to chase down Fury. Diffuser Blade, slow him up. They'll even chase down Kelvin. Silence into the kick. Is the damage going to be enough? They're trying to refresh the Magnetize, but they will not be able to do so. As Kelvin, he's still going for Fury. He's got the Spirit Vessel to play with. Xavier's going to turn speed, lands, and now with the T2 tower. Xavier gets another one to the tally, but he might be in trouble now. Boons has respawned, wants some revenge, and he should be able to find it. A Soul Assumption and a couple of right clicks. Xavier's not dead just yet. They're going to trade the lives in the end.
Ningy's here.
Ningy, he wants to get involved. Spag a TP out, but he will not be successful as they just get the damage required to kill off the Treant Protector.
That's a lot of gold going their way, though, on the E-Black side, right? You've been able to now pick up the Blink Dagger on Fury. He's got the Doom available. They won't have the Soulbind because Tobes just used it in that previous engagement. But, as well, Witchblade now available on Tom Shee. He's even more than halfway towards that Blink Dagger, so it's not looking all doom and gloom. But we have to remember, LY still hasn't joined the fray. He's continuing to farm. He's got the Radiance, so he's just going to accelerate his farm even further.
Have a fight by the pit. Australia feel like that they can take this. Oh, it's not going to pop. They scan, though. They know what's going on.
They might just want to wait for the Soulbind. Don't take it incredibly quickly here. Tom Shee, he's the one that needs to start off this engagement, just giving the vision.
They gotta go soon. They need somewhere to get information. Puck can do that with the orb.
What's Australia
on
seeing?
both sides, a counter initiation as Fury's in with the blink. They get the Pango. He's so important to the team fight. Now with the Leashard controlling the Juggernaut, but they secure the kill. Back inside the mouth of the pit. It's a decent arena, but Kelvin is going to look to enter the fight. Roll in, magnetize, plenty of damage to push back E-Blades. As on both fronts, they'll lose the cause. Mars drops along with Ningy getting killed off, and Australia can now enter the pit once again.
Well, Tom Shee was maybe going for a little bit of a steal there if he was on point with his illusory orb, but won't be able to claim it as, yeah, first Aegis going the way of Australia. It just feels like, yes, it's very important to be able to take TN out of the equation, but you didn't get full usage out of your really good team fight, right? You had the Mars there, you had the Puck, you had the Doom, you had the Soulbind, and they just focused everything onto one person. It felt like you draft a team fight, but you don't use it. It wasn't quite so ideal.
LY is playing with the Aegis in the heads of the Juggernaut. He's continuing to find all his farm he would desire. Did you feel like this? Because the Jug has just been farming across the map. Of course, now with that fight, it has a little bit more kill involvement. But when is he going to feel comfortable with showing up to engagements and maybe even taking some objectives with this Aegis?
I would say probably by the time that he's got the Mantis style, he can feel somewhat confident. I mean, at the very least, the Yasha, I suppose, which he's got coming out to him now if he wants it. He just needs that little bit of extra movement speed, right? Because you've got some pretty speedy heroes on the E-Black side. You've got the Phantom Rush, you've got the Doppelganger to be able to get up cliffs, the Doom, of course, with a Scorched Earth, Puck very hard to catch, so that movement speed's going to be a pretty big deal, actually, just from picking up the Yasha.
Kelvin gonna run into multiple heroes on E-Blacks, and a pretty decent kill for them to find considering how far behind they are. Calvin's gonna give 314 gold over to Ningy.
But in the meantime, bot lane. Did he just die from Magnetize?
Yes, I think so. Juice. Tien's gonna find Park. Orber's just used, so it's gonna be defensive coil, but Spag's in a position to offer the control in the overgrowth, so Tom Shee's gonna go down, and they're considering high ground.
No creeps for a little bit, but they don't have the glyph, I suppose. So yeah, they're feeling pretty confident about it. Any drums that we've got on the side of Team Australia? Yes, we do. Lord Boons with 5 charges left, plus the Wraith Pact available. They could absolutely just look to layer these two down and continue the push.
Xavier is looking for the full wraparound through the trees. He's going to see Boons' positioning as well. It's difficult to be able to blow up the Visage, but they're going to try, dumping everything over to Boons. A little bit late with the Rolling Thunder along with the Wraith Pack, so Boons will be killed off towards the backline. Look at LY. Solo's down one. He's going to try and enter the fight again through the middle. But, oh, Kelvin? Oh, that's a deep attempt. No, even spears him inside the fountain, but it's just space and time as Australia. They'll get the full set of barracks.
Full set of barracks, 3 buybacks as well on top of everything.
LY might be in trouble, actually. Or maybe they want to fight Spag, setting up on the high ground. And he's still got the Omni Slash. Just Solo just blows up Fury. Now they're going to go back in. Tien doesn't have the Rolling Thunder to play with, so won't really be able to close the distance unless he gets a bash. A second one for good measure, as Tom Shee's going to go down, and the rest of E-Blacks retreating as best as they possibly can.
Yeah, this is nearly GG territory right now. I mean, they're just being pushed back inside their own base. Of course, you've constantly got that fountain as a way to be able to make this region happen, but I haven't seen a single Soulbind Doom. LY only 300 gold away from having that Manta Style for himself. They'll be able to claim the second outer tower. It's just looking real solid for Team Australia. Good teamwork coming out across the board. Calvin looking for another. We know he likes to dive deep.
See? Onto the peel for the moment. Great doppelganger though from Ningy. He's going to be able to get out of harm's way for the moment, but LY, he's in, and he's in deep onto the T4 towers they go as Ningy. He's going to be killed off, but a decent arena. LY still has the Aegis to play with, so they're going to be able to bring down the first sniper, at Kelvin. The counter initiation, in here goes Fury. Protect him for the moment. Core's going to get dropped, but it might not matter as the overgrowth from Spag, locking them in the mouth of the fountain. They just can't enter. They can't get back to safety. Boons in the end picks up the double.
They're just getting fountain farmed, and you've got the healing ward. They brought down Calvin to about 100 HP, but he's back in fighting shape. They're just going to go again.
Yeah, why not? Onto the Mars they go. No remorse, putting more heroes into the grave. The buildings under siege, the heroes continuing to be killed off left, right, and center, and your base. It's pillaging time. Australia are not holding back at all, as onto the tier 4 towers they go.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, they make the call. It's the birthday boy that ends up being the one to tank the call first, and really dominant performance coming out there from Team Australia. I feel like you had the lineup to potentially look to make a few of these team fights work, but yeah, like I was saying before, they just never made use out of it. Didn't see a single time where Coil, Mars Ulti, Soulbind Doom was used together as a cohesive unit. You didn't punish the Visage in lane either, despite having a Grimstroke that's fairly capable of doing so. And yeah, Team Australia, they're, like we were saying before the series started, they're a team of very experienced players. They will punish that kind of uncoordination, let's say, that was coming through from the E-Blacks. So very decisive victory in game number 1. And I would say, as the Team Australia advocate, let's call me, that they're in a pretty good position to maybe even close this one out in a 2-0 like the ladies did earlier today.
Yeah, looks like they are in prime position. It was just some issues coming off the back of the lanes, and Eblex having a greedy lineup that they have, like a Doom support. If you can get away with the greediness, and it's going to pay off in the long run. A Phantom Lancer as well can have some issues in the early game, and when you fall behind, well, that's a prime example of what can happen. You can just get ran over, and Australia do just that. A 22-minute victory for the Australian lads, and now they are one game up in the best of three. We're going to send it over break, and when we come back, we'll see if Australia can continue with this momentum. And we are back with our game 2, Australia. A dominant game 1 to be able to open up this series, but this is a best of 3. New Zealand, well, they have a couple more games potentially under their belt, but they need to set themselves up perfectly with a game 2 draft. And then look, we weren't even... It's not like we hated the E-Blacks draft at all in game 2. It just felt like a lot of it came down to execution.
I think so. I think they just need to pick a really easy to execute draft, right? Either stuff that's super strong in lane where you're just able to win out in the laning stage and then suddenly the mid game becomes a bit easier, or something that's very obvious like what Boom do, for example, where they pick like a Mirana and a Dragon Knight and something, a Hoodwink, stuff that's able to just chain lockdown into a kill. They've already banned out on Team Australia the Abaddon, making things a little bit easier. So yeah, I think you could just probably even go further down that route. Tobbs loves playing the Bane. Why don't you pick that?
Are you intrigued about this E-Blacks Doom ban? Because of course, unfortunately, there wasn't, the Fury didn't have the greatest game on it. But is it something that you feel like requires a first phase ban?
I guess they just feel like it's a really strong hero, and this time around Team Australia have first pick, so they're just saying, all right, we just want to make sure that it's taken out of their hands. I mentioned before that Calvin can be a very greedy player whenever he's playing, and what better hero to be able to do that with than a Doom, who's able to obviously use the Devour. But we get a Marcy instead. I'd say it's more likely to be a 4 Marcy. I'm not really seeing Spag play this one.
All right, dispose, rebound, sidekick, and unleash. Got it?
I've got it. Don't you say got it to me. I'm on point, all right? Now I want to see a full anime draft from Australia, okay? We saw it earlier today with Nouns where they got the first 3 was Mirana, Marcy, Dragon Knight, and then they went ahead and picked a Pudge and some other crappy heroes. But we want to see the full memes, you know? Give me a DK next. Why not?
Okay, I like this from E-Blacks. Gives you some really strong laning supports, team fight. You can have issues where you rely on other people to initiate and kind of be that initial jump instead of, like an Earth Spirit line or some hero like that, where you can kind of actually be the one leading the charge and starting the plays. You do rely on someone else to be with you.
Mm-hmm. I wonder where they're going to pick Spag's hero on Team Australia. For me, this feels like they're just going to want to pick whatever's good into both these heroes as a core at this stage. Because if they go down more of this like tanky route, I know it's into the Snapfire, but I still wouldn't hate to see an Undying just to be able to have that counter strength for the laning stage. You've obviously already got 2 strength supports on E-Blacks if they go down that route. They go in Enigma instead. Okay. Don't hate that either.
Let's go. You can... So with the rebound, you can jump off every friendly unit and hero, right?
Asking me a difficult question, unfortunately.
I mean, hang on. What did you say a little bit ago? Sorry,
I knew names.
I'm trying to remember. What was it? Something like I'm on the board or something? I'm don't doubt me. There was along those lines. Sorry, just clarify, right? That was it was something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. No, I have no clue. So we'll see. That's the great thing about Dota. If you're not sure, it'll happen at some point in the game. The thing I want to talk about with Enigma is previously I had a bunch of pro players reaching out to me and saying, look, this is the strongest laner in the game. It's just incredible for what you're able to do to the lane equilibrium, as well as just constantly pressuring the enemy team with your Eidolons. Now, though, ever since the nerf to the cooldown on it, I think previously it was, I want to say 50 seconds at level 1. Now it's all the way down to 60. That just means that the downtime of having Eidolons on the map is 20 seconds as opposed to 10 at level 1. And then even at level 2, when the Eidolons really start to have their impact, it's a 12-second downtime as opposed to a 5. So that means that you're just going to have much less presence and pressure on the map, which is actually a pretty big deal.
Are you expecting this to be the lane from Australia, just Enigma 3, Marcy 4, or of course there's definitely flexibility with these 2 heroes, but do you feel like this like more than likely?
It's not a bad lane, right? You can give a little bit of the extra movement speed to the Enigma with the rebound. You're not going to get good use out of the sidekick, but just
10
having an
seconds
early
remaining.
point in the Midnight Pulse could be super
Dire
value because
team
you can just
ban.
dispose someone back into it if they try and run away. And neither the Trine or the Snapfire are super mobile. Of course, you've got the Cookie, but dispose just counters that basically. What I want to see Eblacks go for is a little bit of more of a. See, I don't know if they can, but I want to see them go like Kunkka. I want something that's able to
10
deal with
seconds
these
remaining.
Eidolons, and it needs to be something physical. Kunkka,
Dire
maybe a
team
Monkey
pick.
King is the other one. Just
Radiant
because,
team
all right,
pick.
pop quiz, Mr. Smart Man. How much magic resist do Eidolons have?
uh 25%.
60.
Okay.
They have 60% magic resist, so you can't rely on things even like
10
the
seconds remaining.
Nature's Grasp, the Scattish Blast, the Puck Illusory Orb. It needs
5
to be
seconds
physical stuff that
remaining.
deals with them. Otherwise, the lanes just get ridiculously out of control. You do have the Treant for the Enigma for once these team fights break out, but I'm just worried about the E-Blacks because we saw that the laning stage for them last game
Radiant
wasn't super
team
great.
pick.
I mean, how many kills did they get up to at the end of it all? Was it like 7? No, 10. They got to 10 kills. So, I don't know. I think it could be a little bit better as, okay, I tab back into the game and I see a Pudge coming out from Team Australia. This is the combo that I was talking about previously, right? Marcy
10
Pudge. So maybe it's going to be a
seconds
1 Pudge and a Marcy 5. And,
Dire
shift
team
the lanes around a little bit. Spag
In
can
the
play 3,
spirit.
Spag can play 4. I'm just not as familiar with his Marcy play. But, of course, the rebound, that bonus 45% movement speed for 5 seconds for a Pudge that wants to be chasing someone down and rotting them, pretty damn good.
From
10
looking at
seconds remaining.
Spag's recent games, he's played a couple Marsies.
5
Three
seconds
three
remaining.
Marsies. What day are
How
we?
long
Yeah,
ago?
three yesterday and today.
Okay,
So
okay, maybe
well
it was a plan.
they were 5 stacking, it looks like, as well. So he won all those games. I'm just trying to see what he went. It was Tranquil's Drums Force in one. I'll check one more game.
It'll be around
Yeah,
the
look,
same. Just
yeah, around the same.
boost
Looks like you like
bearing,
Tranquil's
that sort of
Drums.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very interesting if that's going to be the case. So we're probably potentially still looking for the position 4 to come out for Calvin. But for Team
3 or
Australia, they're
4.
going to answer, 3 or 4. They're going to answer with the Ember Spirit, though. So it's, look, it goes back and forth, man. People will say different things, but the Ember Puck, it's really nice with the slight spam. Sorry, the slight spam with the Orb Corrosion. Puck is very low armor, very similar to kind of the Pango matchup where you just try and spam him out with the Orb Corrosion because of your Puck unable to really deal with physical damage.
And maybe this is the game as well where you see LY playing mid. I'd say Ember Spirit was one of his more favored heroes in that mid lane as well. Obviously, we saw Tien play it previously. Maybe they're going to switch up the lanes. Who knows? Like they said before, Team Australia have that flex potential. Really, what Team Australia need now is a nice, reliable way to be able to start these team fights, or rather, catch the puck. I think that's the big thing that they're lacking at this stage. They might be able to go, well, I was about to say into the Pangolier, but you're up against the Trio Protector, so maybe not. Dragon Knight's been banned out. You don't really pick Tidehunter anymore. Do they steal away the Mars? Probably not. I don't know.
Radiant team ban.
Do E-Blacks just pick up the Mars? Nix.
So who's a core?
I don't know. Snap? Maybe
Snap tree lane?
it's an alright amount of damage, but again, it doesn't really deal with the Eidolons. They've got all of that magic resistance, so I think it's just a lane that you don't really care too much about. Just double checking if the Scatter Blast might be physical damage. No, it's magical. So yeah, I still don't think they have a really good way to be able to deal with this Enigma. I think now you can make it a core as well. Like it probably doesn't need to be a support. There's nothing
10
really stopping the
seconds
Enigma from
remaining.
having an impact from a lot more of that early farm.
Yeah, I think you might look to
seconds
protect it with the
remaining.
Conquer ban because the Blacks are still looking for the carry, and Conquer is by far if you're going to look to deal with the Enigma, that's the route you want to go down.
Radiant team ban.
Also pretty
Uh,
decent. Just prior to a BKB, you can just X marks the Pudge, immediately use it again to be able to cancel the Dismember. If you're really on point, you can like try and lock down the Ember Spirit for a little bit. I don't know. I think Kunkka's a solid
10
pick here, but then
seconds remaining.
how do you push high ground? I don't know. I feel like eBlack's the Nyx Assassin
5
perhaps was
seconds
just
remaining.
like, okay, we're dealing with Rot, we're dealing with Flame Guard, we're dealing with Black Hole / Midnight Pulse. You could just pop Carapace and run into all of those and maybe use that to begin a team fight.
I think the nice thing about the Nyx as well, if you can get out of your laning stage, because it is kind of a weak laner, is the Vendetta just to be able to scout to help out with the
10
puck getting
seconds
pickoffs, and because I think this is a snap core as well to help out with him getting pickoffs, because
5
more than likely he's going to have
seconds
boots of travel. So for E-Black's going to play the route of just getting kills all across the map, but the issue is you need to get out of the lanes, and that's kind of something we saw them not do well in game one.
They're just going to Mars again on eBlacks. This time around, they're banning out the Juggernaut.
Team pick.
I mean, it's not great if the Pudge is...
What's going on?
Alchemist. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a Pudge 4.
Looks like it. LOY's got a very good elk. I feel like it's really the stage in Dota where you say that with a lot of people. You just go down the list. It's like, oh yeah, he's a staple Ember, staple Void, staple Storm. Hang on a second, his Evoker's really good.
Yeah,
Invoker's
Invoker's
yeah.
What do eBlacks do against this? I mean, they've got no one really that wants to buy any kind of like healing reduction outside of a Spirit Vessel right now. Puck maybe can eventually go into a Shiva's. Any percent damage that you might look to go
Choose your
for?
hero.
Lockdown's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is just a Ningy staple, though. I mean, you talk about just going down that list. Ningy Weaver is like the thing that he picked for the longest time. So I think they're just wanting comfort. If it doesn't work out, at least you've played what you're known for.
I think it's not the worst Weaver game. Roots are always going to be annoying, but getting that stun is going to be pretty difficult. You can always dodge the hook. I think it's an okay Weaver game. I'm concerned. Actually, the lane's going to be okay too because he's got Treant Protector to help out. I think my one question is how the Snapfire Nyx is going to be able to lane together, especially against the Alchemist Marcy, where Elk is not the greatest laner as well, but Marcy is very, very strong in that regard. So I have some concerns from both sides, but I do not hate this last pick Weaver.
Okay. I'm still going to go with Team Australia for this one. I mean, you've even got things like the Acid Spray just to be able to buff up the Marcy once she hits onto a level 6. You know, the Unleashes are going to actually be dealing a decent amount of damage, even as that position 5. So, yeah, I feel like they're just in a position to be able to run over the E-Blacks again. I mean, we saw in game number 1, right? Lose Yourself didn't join in onto anything until he was like level... until about the 18-minute mark, and then once he did, it was just a matter of time until Australia was able to close this one out. Alchemist, he's in the same boat, right? He's just going to be farming. I guess they have at least the heroes to be able to go and make some ganks happen onto him with some smokes, with a Vendetta, using the Spike Carapace into an Acid Spray in the jungle. So what I want to see from Team Australia is a little bit more priority given to not just observer wards, but also sentries at the main entrances to the jungle areas that Lose Yourself is wanting to farm once it gets to that stage of the game.
All right, so you're giving a little bit more of an edge to the lads over on Australia. Hold that thought. I was going to see if E-Blacks, where they're looking to path this smoke, going to move over towards the mid lane. Fury gets a pretty aggressive ward down in the jungle, so we'll see if they can utilize this.
All right, I'm just chuckling a little bit at Calvin and Boons up on this top side. They did the cheeky little play where he bought the Quelling Blade plus the Boots of Speed to try and get out to the lane a little bit quicker, but it just turned out, I'm not sure how, Boons got to the lane just as quickly as Calvin did. So he sold the boots at the secret shop, and now he's got his real laning items coming out to him now. At least he's not giving up the first blood this time, pre-Horn.
You a fan of the Pudge cosmetics, or does he need to up his game? They only got one, I suppose.
What does he even have?
Just a weapon. It's just a...
Deserator. See, this is the other thing that I want to see. Have a look at Flesh Heap. What's the duration of the active?
Flesh Heap has an active?
I mean, you see a cooldown, right? Or is that just like... No, it's an active. No, it's an active.
What's the active?
The damage block.
Oh, true. When did it become an active?
Oh.
When? I don't know. Okay. So what was your question originally?
What's the duration of it?
I don't know. I can't help that. I didn't even know it was an active.
So I know that when he uses it, it looks like he's got a bunch of like, it's pretty gross. He's got like a bunch of like boils bubbling on his skin, basically. And I actually need to test it out, like, because it says against all types of attack. I'm not sure if that means just physical or if it's magic as well, but just imagine if you're up against like a Skywrath mage, for example, you pop the flesh heap and it actually just does 0 damage to you.
I'm pretty sure it's magic as well, because people have been speaking about like 2 points flesh heap and 2 points rod. Rod does like no damage to you.
Yeah.
So oh, nice double stun from Fury down bottom. Might try and get aggressive on Spag. They got another Scatter Blast up in a couple of seconds. They'll need some right clicks afterwards, and that's where Xavier can come into play. So first blood picked up from E-Blacks.
Okay, you like to see that. You get the double stun coming in. Not the birthday boy picking one up, but he was there to enable that kill to happen. Is Boots just jungling?
Yeah, I think have they swapped the roles? Looks like it's
Not sure.
the case.
I mean, he's got the Quelling Blade, I suppose, yeah.
But,
Does Punch need Quelling Blade? I wouldn't say so.
so,
Dire's middle
but the reason is for the Treant Protector. That's why you have the Quelling Blade.
I guess.
Because no, I would say you do not need a Quelling Blade, but you want to just go out, destroy as many trees as possible. That's what you were mentioning about the boots, just to get out to the lane. But down bottom, we're going to see another kill picked up. It's going to be the Snapfire going down. LY is able to hit the board for Australia, and Spag, a couple more seconds until the ability's up, but they won't have the sun coming through from LY thanks to the unstable concoction.
Nicely done, nicely done. I feel like, even though you've obviously gone a little bit more towards switching these lanes up a little bit, I feel like this isn't making the biggest usage out of your Enigma, right? Like I was saying before, how strong, how oppressive of a laner he is, but what are we looking at here? Mid?
Oh, Kelvin almost died top. Little goo popping out of him to help out.
Oh, is that the flesh heap? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's funny, because I was... Sorry, finish your point.
I feel like it's super oppressive, this Enigma, if you're able to put him in a good spot. And, well, they're actually looking to try and dive onto him. Calvin's... He's got the flesh heap going. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, sure.
But, yeah, like, until you're level 3, I know that you don't really want to have them being super effective, but I don't know, I just feel like Boons would have so much more impact if he just if he just stayed in lane against this.
Yeah, I was watching Tommy Man play a Pudge 1 last night, and I saw this goo happening on him, and I was like, must be a new cosmetic, or maybe he's hit a threshold with flesh heap stacks that randomly when you're walking across the map, the goo kind of pops out of you, and I just, again, did not know this was there was an active on this.
Look, change logs.
Might have been at 7.31 at the start.
3-1B, it got changed, and you just got a little bit of extra damage block now.
It definitely feels like a hero that I think we're going to see the rise of. People have been experimenting with a carry. I mean, we're getting a position 3 Pudge as well. I'm intrigued on how they're going to be able to funnel the net worth into the Enigma or the Pudge as the game goes on. Of course, at the moment, you've naturally it's just a 3 Pudge for Enigma, but a lot of the time, some teams, I think Liquid for honestly quite some time, were even doing it where their position 4 would kind of take a back seat, and so the position 3 would take a back seat, and the position 4 would get a little bit more farm because they felt the importance of his item build.
That was with Boxy and Tiger, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, a little bit further away. I mean, It's an enigma, right? You're going to have an impact when it gets to the late game. It's just the thing is, we
Bottom
were so
lane.
used to...
LY is going to be in trouble. Oops, Spag Carapace going to hold him inside the acid spray, but the bonus movement speed is not enough. Spag, it was a nice attempt from the rebound, but we're seeing... This was the lane I was kind of hesitant about, honestly, the Nyx and Snapfire, but Xavier and Fury are doing a very good job to give E-Blacks a strong start down bottom.
Yeah, Xavier top of the net worth right now. Up against an Alchemist, you know that that's not something that you really want. Just he wants to be free farming. Again, this is what LY had the freedom to do last time around, but obviously the lane's just feeling so much stronger this time as well. They're actually going to look to make an aggressive movement. Will they reach with a concoction? Looks like they will.
See how annoying it is to play with, though, this Spike Carapace, and Xavier gets a double stun. Now, LY might be in trouble, especially with the puck rotation. Tom Shi is going to look to join the pod. Is the coil leashing two together? There will be no escape as E-Blacks, a completely different story. Back to top we go, though. Topes in the jungle. Gonna give Kelvin over his first flesh heap stack with the help of Boons with the haste.
This is just more about Ningy having a free game. You know, he's got his signature Weaver. He's looking to get a lot of farm up, that Javelin super early. And yeah, he doesn't even need to go the stats, right? Because he's not being contested against with a couple of heroes. He doesn't need that value right now. He's just going to go uber farming build.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The for E-Blacks are, oh yeah, top side again. Kelvin. See how tanky is truly going to be with the active coming out. So the poke and prod, Kelvin doesn't have the greatest resources at the moment. So we'll see how he's going to look to play this next minute or so if he feels like it's required to go back to base.
So it's 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds on Flesh Heap, by the way.
Okay. Where'd you find that out? Did you do a quick Google?
Yeah, Dota Wiki.
Good old tooltips. The spring cleaning wasn't good enough, I suppose. So, how are we expecting Tien on the Ember and Tom Shi on the puck to get involved through the early game?
I haven't actually paid too much attention at all to this mid lane, right? Obviously, he's going into the phase boots build. He's trying to harass out the puck, but his map impact...
Bottom lane? Hang on a second, Xavier. Monomachis is out. It's a beautiful dispose, being able to cancel Xavier's ultimate, so it will give LY an opportunity to TP out of harm's way, but it will come at a cost.
I mean, it's not just the cost of Spag dying, it's just the fact that, you know, you're TPing back. Obviously, you can't TP immediately back to the bot lane. Where does he go on Lose Yourself? Have a look at some of these Observer wards that have been placed down super deep as well by Fury. He's just been spending his time out of the lane whenever he gets the opportunity to, and just, you're going to have complete understanding of where Alchemist is farming. So maybe they can look to make a play with a Smoke of Deceit in this next little bit. Fury just waiting for his Arcane Boots to come out, and then, of course, a puck has a good amount of damage at this stage of the game to potentially kill him.
Yeah, and even top lane, Kelvin is playing solo. Of course, it's quite greedy with a Enigma support, but Kelvin can't really play this lane into a Weaver and a Train Protector. They're doing a very good job just to zone him out. So Kelvin, unfortunately, not getting as much farm as kind of what he's hoping. So it really feels like it's going to be more of a passive game from the lads on Australia.
Yeah, and that's not always what you want as a Pudge, right? You want an active game. You want to be moving around, getting those Flesh Heap stacks up for yourself, making kills happen. But, well, not going to have that luxury. At least he's got the Vanguard now, but...
Bottom lane?
He makes your lane a little easier.
Fury's able to get the first stun. Spag's actually going to jump in. Oh, beautiful use of the spell casting from Spag. And now he's got the Unleash in the arsenal. So Xavier's going to be chased down. They'll wait for the Shackles to come back up. And this is a big kill. Xavier, he's had an exceptional start to this game. But they might look to hit back as Tom Shi moves down bottom of the curl, dropping onto 2. Even Ningy wants to get involved as well. So they'll kill off Spag. Let's try and find TM, but he's got a Remnant already out. So Tien will be okay.
I know he's 0-4-4, but I feel like Spag's actually playing a really good game so far. Like, he's constantly just creating those potential kill opportunities. You know, LY, despite being pushed out of the lane, has 2 kills and was able to enable the TP out. He also got a really nice initiation there. Nyx is going to die.
He's going to die, but the response is coming through from the E-Blacks. They have the Mortimer Kisses. They don't have any way to kind of force someone to stand their ground into the ultimate. Kisses will not do enough damage to bring down Boons. And meanwhile, Kelvin is kind of threading the line of maybe killing off Tom Shi. They got Tien. He's coming up with the haste. They know that they're kind of stuck here. Puck committed with his TP, so there's going to be no escape. They're only able to find him with the first light. They're going to get the vision afterwards, though, and orb into the tree line, but they're able to continue the chase. Puck's going to have the abilities back up in a couple of seconds. A beautiful silence to stop Spag, but it will not matter with no escape, no abilities off cooldown, so they're going to catch him out in the tree line.
Now, I know in Dota that you can't be constantly playing on the front foot, like being aggressive all the time. There needs to be times where you're farming, right? Farming is so strong in Dota right now, but I feel like they're still just spending too much time.
Oh, more action. There's no farming. It's all kills, all blood as Tien. Run into Xavier. They might not have the control with the overgrowth not available. Even now, Boon's considering about stepping in. They're going to be cautious about the threat of the black hole, but Spag, he's been caught off to the west. Soloed down by Ningi's Weaver. They're still hunting though, Boons.
That's how he was able to get away previously as well. Just the use of the Tumbler's Toy to be able to avoid the Mortimer's Kisses that went up onto him back when top lane was being contested. But yeah, like I was saying before, they'd committed 3 Observer Wards super deep onto the Radiant side of the map, and it feels like since then they haven't actually made usage out of them. LY's been farming, and he was down in 4th on the net worth. They might have just got a brief amount of vision of him as he walked down into the river to make sure that his Chemical Rage was back off cooldown, but are they making the movement towards him? Doesn't seem like it.
Otherwise, with all the action going on from Australia, like they've been winning out honestly on some decent trades, but importantly, they're just giving space and putting all the attention away from their Alchemist.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like you now have an extra 5 seconds on this Chemical Rage as well.
Oh, Boons, no! Black Hole drop, but Tom Shi, well, he's not going to be caught from this one. Spag will be able to get the stun connection, though, disposing him closer towards Kelvin's location. The Pudge splits the middle with the hook. He's still going to try and move in forward, but despite Carapace proving to be an issue, look at the damage block that Kelvin's playing with. 3 points in the Flesh Heap along with the Vanguard. They are doing minimal damage to the Pudge. They can chase on forward to even out the trade in 1-1.
It's just so hard to kill him, right? You commit onto him, you've got the Chip Vest coming back your way, you've got the Rot maxed out. He's level 10 now, I wonder what he's going to go. I mean, the armor talent is just so effective with, you're essentially doubling your armor just by being able to get it at this stage. But seems like he's holding the point. No, never mind, he gets it. So very nicely done there. I still want to see him go into some kind of magic resistance for himself, because even though you've got the Flesh Heap, of course, you just want to make sure that you're reducing the damage that you're doing to yourself as much as possible, and so much of the damage coming out from the E-Blacks right now is that magic component.
Yeah, I'm intrigued on kind of what route he's going to go down afterwards, because I think it's really been this Scepter build and BKB. There might even be a Blink that's chucked into there as well for the Pudge. You're even considering the Ag Shard, which maybe you'll get off Roshan if no one else feels the value of their shard. So I'm definitely intrigued on kind of what items Kelvin feels the importance on.
Even just a casual cloak is fine in my eyes. It's such a good item. I mean, you might want to pair it up with a Veil. Not the Veil, the Hood. And it's going to be really effective there too, but who knows? Oh,
look at Boons. Great positioning. Just going to scout out E-Blacks, venturing into their jungle. Tien's going to look to get involved as well. They've already brought down the Enigma though, so there won't be a threat of the big black hole for this fight. They're doing a good job to split them all up, but they're lacking the control for the Weaver. They're going to turn to Tobes instead. The Dismember's out. They got the burst to secure the kill, but Juice, can he turn this one back around? He gets enough mana to be able to use the slide, but the damage is lacking as the Mortimer Kiss is getting dropped from Xavier. Secures all the kills they would desire, and now they're going to try and chase Tien down, but again, the control from both sides, it seems to be something that is a concern.
It was just, they were able to take out Tobes there before he's able to pop the Overgrowth. Just a tiny bit off point there on Xavier as well with the Fire Snap Cookie Scatterblast combination. And, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, they came out of that team fight reasonably, but you just have to consider what was happening all during that. LY just sitting here on his Alchemist, continuing to farm. He's got the Radiance. He's close to that level 12 as well. So going to have that extra little bit of the Chemical Rage for his survivability. He's looking up for the Alchemist and Team Australia.
Oh, Blink. Puck's in the midst of it all. Drops the coil. The black hole still not up. Down for 20 seconds. So Australia going to be fighting without a big ultimate, but with how close they are to the T1 tower and Spag jumping into the middle, he will be able to prevent E-Blacks from getting a kill. Otherwise, going to try and solo kill Tobe's top. Train Protector, is he going to be okay? Otherwise, going to continue to chase him. He's going to get the kill pretty soon, otherwise the threat of rotations be enough.
That's why he backs off. He would have been able to get the kill, of course, if he just continued to commit there. The constant damage coming through from the Radiance, preventing Tobes from escaping. But you know what? He's happy to just farm. And if he can force a rotation up towards his area of the map as well, that just means more areas for the rest of the boys.
See, those boys were able to take a T1 tower mid with the Eidolons and the catapults. So all that time that E-Blacks put to try and move top to find the Alchemist, it's not going to pay off.
Saying I really wanted Team Australia to go something that would be that quick initiation, that instant lockdown for someone like the Puck. Speaking of which, he nearly goes down on the top side of the river. Calvin's very close to being able to pick up the Blink Dagger for himself, so that's obviously going to provide so much more of that lockdown potential.
Mid lane. Tien's going to be in trouble, Xavier. That's a beautiful initiation. They're going to break the coil. Has he got a Remnant available? It's going to be able to get out of harm's way. Now to the west. LY controlling Puck for the moment. Xavier's back in. Almost blowing up Spag. He's going to have to deal with the Beatles. It's a deep attempt to be able to secure the kill, and they're able to do so. So Ningy getting involved 16 minutes in. Will find a kill onto the position 5. Marcy.
To me, though, it still is... He used a lot to be able to try and get that, right? Oh, what are they going to be able to do now with Tobes? Making the rotation through with Fury.
Oh. And they got to be so cautious. Fury, really nicely done. Gets the initiation. Now the silence as well. It's going to prevent the black hole. They're trying to find a way in for Boons to be able to have this threat of the ultimate, but it will not be the case. They're going to turn to Ningy though. Concoction's out, the control lacking for the moment. A beautiful overgrowth to give Ningy an opportunity to reset to the higher ground. And now Fury once again, a multi-man stun. They're going to turn this towards the river, trying to reposition the safety. Ningy, he's going back in, trying to bring down Tien, but Calvin with the blink, finds to dismember. It'll keep Tien alive. Now the threat of the hook. Can they catch up to the Puck? To the north goes Tom Shi, and wow, Australia was looking like a very awkward fight, but somehow they're able to edge out a victory.
Yeah, well, they might be able to get a little bit more damage, but again, Spag just with the dispose able to
he's going in.
Away.
Okay, Calvin. He's got the dismember back up, so look at all the bonus health he's getting back. Spag. He's 1-7-10, but he's making this Marcy look good.
Yeah, he is playing incredibly well. Just not even the maxed out dispose either, so it's going to get even better. Just wanting to be that follow-up, to be that one that's going to enable the Puck, the Pudge or the Ember Spirit to be able to make that additional connection. And it's always just about the +1 for Team Australia.
Roll out. Pudge gonna eat the full duration. They're coming down to take the fight. Boons has got the black hole, but he doesn't have a way to get in the middle. So much damage from Ningy. Dragonlance, Maelstrom. They're gonna be cautious though. There we go. There's the first stun. Boons is gonna turn to drop the ultimate. The Spike Carapace. It takes too long. Oh, it takes too long. Fury, he didn't go for the Impale. Might have been out of range regardless. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Tien is able to solo kill Tobes. We're not done just yet. Back to bottom we go. As Boons was going to be killed off thanks to Tom Shi, but Kelvin looks to even out the trade. He's out of mana, but he does have some assistance coming through from Tien. To mid to bottom goes the Ember Spirit. He's able to connect to the second skirmish going on across the map.
I almost thought he was going to ask for a bottle sip from Tien there just to make it stay out on the map, but TP's back to base instead. And Calvin, while he had a rough start to the game, he certainly paid it back. And then some. Just those instant lockdowns, such a big deal, right? And you know, maybe if the black hole did lots of like constant damage, but it does go every single second as opposed to, you know, every millisecond, for example. So the Spike Carapace unfortunately didn't proc on the damage coming through.
They've got some big issues on E-Blacks. These have been fights that not only have Australia been winning, but LY's free farming. All of a sudden, he's got Blink BKB, and they're going to be able to kill Tobes as well. So more flesh heap stacks given over to Kelvin. As the overgrowth will do nothing as Kelvin lands the hook. And yeah, they're going to be considering a Roshan.
Yeah, especially now. No overgrowth just gives him that huge opportunity. This is the reason why, you know, a lot of those, oh, I just don't want to die kind of abilities really aren't worth it. And, you know, you were mentioning before having the Blink Dagger. He's going into the AC next, but Al loves having things like the Swift Blink or even the Overwhelming to be able to buff himself up.
Yep, he is ridiculously farmed. Had a bit of a rougher lane on LY, but has really been able to catch back up. Of course, this is just Alchemist things with the Grievo's Greed, and now he's got the Aegis, and soon to be the level 3 in the ultimate as well, so it's about to be go time for Australia.
He has the BKB, so that just makes him... Like, he's not even that worried about physical damage at this stage, and he's got the BKB.
Kelvin is mighty stuck.
Nice hook.
A nice hook's going to be able to cancel the Mortimer Kisses. Kelvin gets up the Flesh Heap and the ultimate, but the health doesn't come back fast enough. But Tien and Co. showing up to the party. Emma's going to continue to be able to chase down the puck. They need the control coming through. Boons and Spag should be able to provide it if they can get in range. Oh, he doesn't get much distance on the orb. And they secure the kill afterwards. A concoction closing the distance. LY gets the streak, and now the towers soon to be under siege.
Nice positioning by Tobes in that fight to be able to lay down the Nature's Grasp on the stairs. It meant that you weren't able to connect immediately with the Enigma, but yeah, just those little things that Team Australia are going to punish. The short, illusory orb distance ends up costing him heavily. LY just continuing to grow that lead. Another tower going his way, full creep wave. We're going to start buying into that AC. They're just so confident. LY is between a tier 2 and a tier 3 at this stage because he knows there's nothing that the enemy team can do about it, allowing Boons to be able to farm up this ancient camp. And yeah, it's only going to be a very short amount of time until the Wraith Pact is up for Team Australia as well. So we're having damage issues. It's going to get worse.
LY, a jump in onto the Weaver. Oh, this is looking scary. They got plenty of control to be able to blow him up. Now they're onto the puck next as well. They don't even need the Black Hole. They're doing way too much without it. As LY BKB pop, they are unable to bring down the TPing out hero, but it looks like Fury throughout the river. Yeah, there's going to be no escape. Slight from Tien, godlike streak on your Ember Spirit. And this game is really starting to get out of control. This Aegis advantage feels like it just might be the way to end it.
Big props have to be given to Tien as well. He's been playing very well across both games. Godlike this time around. Not a single death so far. He's just playing his role to a T. Like LY again, just farming multiple lanes right in front of the Dire base, and feels like they can't do anything about it. Tobes gonna end up falling again.
That he is. Spag jumps in, gets a kill with the help of the Unleash, and another tier 2 tower is going to be able to throw. They're TPing top to try and actually defend this Xavier. A double cookie summoned. Fury's going to try and get in position to land the follow-up Impale. They're going to put all their attention onto Spag. This will give Kelvin an opportunity to be able to TP out on the Pudge, so he's going to be okay. It's a bit of a commitment from the lads on New Zealand, but they're going to be cautious though, because back in the jungle, they're onto the Enigma. Boons still the threat of the Black Hole, but he's not going to have an opportunity to drop the ultimate. Boons still turning around. Cole's going to prevent that, but oh my, in they go. Elk and Ember, they just have way too much damage, and they're going to be cautious on the Weaver. The root lasting a long duration. LY charging up the concoction, won't be able to run into the Weaver, so it's going to turn to the easier target into Xavier, but doesn't get in range to chuck out the stun, so Xavier will live to see another day.
Tiny bit clowny coming out here. I feel like Team Australia are just hungry for kills as opposed to objectives. You had, you know, that big commitment up on the top side by the E-Blacks, while the Alchemist and the Ember Spirit were right in front of this tier 2 mid. Obviously, they went for more.
They're in.
More.
Xavier. He's in trouble. Easy blood. Now Tien is hunting to try and find someone else on the back line. Remnant's deep inside the front of the tier 3 tower. They're going to run into Tobes on the Treant Protector. Beyond godlike is Tien. He's looked really solid in game 1 and game 2. Been very impressed with Tien's performance.
Poor Lose Yourself, he's tried to join in now that he's plenty farmed to a couple of these team fights, and his team just kills the E-Blacks too quickly. So he's ended up using the concoction onto himself a couple of times now, and, well, they're just happy to go up onto the high ground. Fishing for someone. And, well, they will have at least the glyph to be able to push this one out. Are there any items coming out shortly for the E-Blacks that might be able to salvage this for them? Doesn't really feel like it. Maybe the Blink Dagger on Fury just to get that instant black hole interrupt.
Oh, they're hitting tier 4 tower.
Oh, no. Boots. He's gone for the style.
Oh, no. Kelvin into the snapfire. They go. Tier 4 towers for what? Heroes for what? It's going to be all in the buybacks to turn this back around, but it looks like Australia are too far ahead. Kelvin's playing with his food now. Flesh Sheep just makes this guy way too tanky. They're doing a decent amount of damage to him for the moment. Coil dropped onto 2. The BKB is going to be able to protect him as TN fishes to the right. Secures a kill, an instant buyback on Fury. Now the hook as well. Kelvin runs into the puck. They get the concoction for the chain control. And, alright, Xavier, it's a beautiful double stun coming through from the cookie. So they brought down 2 heroes on Australia, but it looks like LY is untouchable.
Yeah, he, what can you do against this? Is he giving someone an Aghanim Scepter? I'm sure Calvin's asked for it.
Probably. Because Kelvin had it queued up. Does he still have it queued up? No, he doesn't.
Let me have a look. Yeah.
So he had it queued up before. Now obviously going for the Shivas. Looks like, Kelvin's the greediness coming out from him. He's following LY. He's like, come on, give it to me. LY's running away. He's like, no, you want it? No, all right, I'll give it to you. Yeah, thanks. Well played.
Look at that.
Huh?
Calvin's going to
Wait,
say...
hang on. New Zealand, look at this. They're coming out. They're going to try and bring down the Pudge. She can't get the Flesh Ship active off, so Pudge is going to be killed up, and LY wants to jump in along with the help at TN. Beautiful chains onto 2. As New Zealand, it was an ambitious attempt. You killed off Kelvin, but of course it comes at a grave cost. As now Ningi's going to be in trouble. Time lapse back into the river, but they're already ready and waiting. They were ready and waiting as LY finds a concoction. They've got the Melphis as well. The detection, though. Detection. Mod check. Where is it? Ningi?
Spag's got him, but he just assumed to guess the wrong way.
Oh, Ningi. New Zealand, I wasn't... Honestly, when you're this far behind, why not make a crazy play like that? Just smoke up, move into the jungle, move to the triangle, try and catch someone off guard. They did. They definitely did. They were able to kill Kelvin, but yeah, you see it comes at a bit of a cost.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth a good amount of gold as well because he'd just been given over the Aghanim Scepter as well, so 4,200 more net worth for him. Meant that they actually got a lot of net worth from it, but they also lost a lot from the deaths that came afterwards. Spag, he's gone hunting, going to try and pick up this puck here. He always just seems to have his radar on point. I think they're pinging tier 4s again.
Don't blame him, honestly. Do not blame them. LY.
None.
BKB is going to be out from Ningi. Good luck killing Mr. LY. AC, BKB. She's going to try and jump in the middle. Poke and prod, maybe force his BKB. I think that's the best thing. Hopefully you can force the BKB out early from LY.
He doesn't care.
That he doesn't. T4 towers, that he will. Cookie to reposition, but Tien's going to hunt a remnant in the backline. Even Kelvin's just beelining to the carry. Another celebratory black hole from Mr. Boons, and there we go. The hook's on point. Kelvin is just eating all the damage. He's got a BKB. Will continuing to move to the back, but Tobes holds him in place. It's an overgrowth with the scatterblast for New Zealand. They might be doing it. 3 down. They're going to get Tien as well. That's a big streak to find. Relax, you're doing fine, but you also give it over 4 kills as New Zealand. This is some Dosh Jowish into the bank from them.
Yeah, they even took away the gem as well. So now Fury's got that. He can look to get a little bit more of that map control. Win probability back down to 3%. Let's go. And yeah, just going a little bit too far. Maybe the celebratory black hole, a little bit too much. I think Calvin as well in that. Sure, you're not going to 1v5 this LY. He had just one more right-click needed onto the Scarab that was onto him from the Swarm, and as a result of that, I mean, you're a Pudge. He went into the armor talent, but he still doesn't have a ton for himself, so He was like -5 or something armor, very quick to be able to take him down.
Hi. LY's got some bounties as well. 3 bounties now at the 30-minute mark.
Just letting him mature, you know, like a fine wine.
My god, he just got so much gold.
Instant Abyssal Blade now.
What? I think I saw plus 240. And I don't know if that was for an individual bounty. I hope not, because that's stupid. That's just dumb.
Should be 270, right? Bounty rune multiplier is 3, and they give 90 each.
Mid lane. Oh, LY. Abyssal stop. Into the concoction chain control. And now they're just looking to invade the jungle. New Zealand.
Go is the call.
Yeah, T4 towers pinged out.
You got to get back, New Zealand. Do they have TPs at least? They do, on everyone that's alive. How long until the next celebratory black hole? Another 45 seconds.
They're going for the backstab, though. Going for the backstab play on New Zealand. They're going to run to Kelvin, which is probably the only target you really don't want to run into. The rot just melting through Fury's health pool. They're going to chuck Kelvin closer towards the Kiwis. And in goes TN onto Ningy. They've got boons as well nearby to be able to offer any control they would desire. Ningy's got a buyback, but your buildings are getting beat down as LY. Well, everyone else has wanted to dive the fountains and celebrate, but it's LY with the objective-based mind.
10 seconds until the next black hole. Will we get a real one? He's got the blink dagger now at least to be able to make that engagement happen. 2, 1. Nope.
Oh my god. They six back tried to chuck him in as well. He's like, come on, I'll even put you in a prime position to get that black hole off. But LY, in he goes. Another Abyssal out. Weaver's down. Looking like a dieback for him. It's a decent use of the coil, but they just have no damage. There's nothing New Zealand can do. Australia, they've been playing with their food for quite some time now. And the celebratory kills out and the fountain diving out of their system as well. Triple kill for LY to close out this game. Ooh. And there you go.
And there's the
GG, well played. Congrats. In Australia, they're going to be able to take our best of 3, 2-0. They'll be moving over to Birmingham.
Doesn't matter if you're the men or the ladies, Team Australia come out on top at the end of the day. What does that say about your countrymen? Just kidding. But Team Australia, just too strong at the end of the day. You know, the lane's going incredibly well. Actually, lane's going much better for New Zealand this time around, but it just got to that point where they were expending a lot and not getting much in exchange. The Alchemist was just given a free game despite the vision that Fury was able to lay down for them. And, I mean, Tien played a fantastic game as well. 32 kills out of the 43 in the game ended up being as a result of his involvement.
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, Australia, both the men's and the women's are going to be going over to Birmingham to represent the Aussie lads, unfortunately for the Kiwis, though. Yeah, 50-50 I am, so there's some pride in both aspects there. But a beautiful series overall. Australia really just showcasing how strong they are as players, and it's going to be exciting to see as well, just maybe with some time, how much more they can mature as well, because these is a good group of guys, but it's going to come down to maybe how much you're able to continue to gel together. The scrims, of course, you were mentioning they've been putting a lot of emphasis on these qualifiers, and now that the fact that they get to go over to Birmingham, hopefully there's a little bit more training for them to set themselves up to represent us well.
Yeah, I wonder who they're going to be scrimming against, because I'll be honest, you know, the E-Blacks, they put up a good fight, but I think when you get to that international stage, you're going to have some teams that are going to be looking a lot more competitive at the end of the day. So, you know, maybe look to arrange some stuff with some tier 2 teams, perhaps from the Southeast Asian region, just see if you're able to make that one work. And the other question is, for the real deal, is KP going to be there? He might have other obligations. Maybe Talon have qualified to the Arlington Major that's going to be going on at the same time. So we never know. Might be Spag through that sub role getting the opportunity to play on LAN on the other side of the world, and I'm sure he'd be very happy about that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And all the players from Australia, once again, congratulations to them and also the females that qualified earlier on. Now, we're going to drop the stream for a little bit. We've got a bit of a break. It's about 2 hours. And when we come back, though, it'll be the South Asia qualifiers kicking off again. It's going to be day 2 of that, the final day. First up, we'll have Bangladesh against India. Second series, India versus Sri Lanka. And then Bangladesh versus Pakistan. And it's pretty close. It's pretty close. We're putting a lot of... Yeah, there is well and truly a top 3, and we're going to see how they can contest some, battle it out on the final day to determine who will be that one country representing South Asia in the Commonwealth Esports Championships. So we're going to see you guys in around about 2 hours, but get some food, get some drinks, and when we come back, we'll have more Commonwealth Esports Championships South Asian qualifiers. We'll see you guys then.